Call to order the school committee meeting for February 24th, 2014. Mr. Clark is not here, so as vice chair, I will be calling the meeting to order. And it is recorded and aired live on LCTV. Please stand for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Forgot. And let's read our mission statement. The Longmeadow School Committee maintains educational policies that foster continuous improvement by challenging and supporting all children in a safe and caring learning environment, enabling them to reach their highest potential and to become productive citizens. Through effective communication and positive relationships, the Longmeadow School Committee will make informed decisions in the best interests of the students, the schools, and the Longmeadow community. Is there any correspondence?
There is correspondence for this meeting. We had an emailed letter from Miss Jennifer Toole dated February 7th regarding the kindergarten program in Longmeadow. We had an emailed letter from Heather and Patrick Sullivan dated February 9th regarding the full-day kindergarten fee. An email letter from Miss Rachel Axman dated February 11th regarding full-day kindergarten fee and a sliding scale for reduced fees based on the income level. We had an email letter from Mr. Jeffrey Klotz, Town of Longmeadow Audit Committee member, dated February 17th regarding the financial function of the schools and reporting to the town. We had an email note from Mr. Jeffrey Klotz dated February 17th regarding procedures for school committee minutes, and an email letter from Jeffrey Klotz, Town of Longmeadow Audit Committee, dated February 17th regarding the Lower Pioneer Valley Educational Collaborative Audit Report. And another email from Jeffrey Klotz of 487 Converse Street, dated February 18th, correcting his address reflected in the December 23rd school committee minutes. And then we had a letter from David and Ashley Mundrick, dated February 18th, regarding the full-day kindergarten fee.
Okay, thank you. We could just remind everyone that if there's no name on the correspondence, then it is not in the correspondence. We have our visitor comments right now. Is there anybody you'd like to speak tonight? No? Okay. We have our school committee comments next. Oh, sorry. Could turn my head.
No, that's okay. I just have a question, and I don't know if, Janet, if you can answer to clear up for me figures when we're looking at the budget this year and we're looking at establishing our fee for kindergarten and the amount that it would cost to institute full-day kindergarten. I just feel like a bunch of numbers have been sort of thrown around. Can you clarify?
In terms of the numbers that we had put out in our budget reflect what it would cost, including a fee of the $3,000 tuition. If we were to go to full-day kindergarten for all children in the town of Longmeadow at no charge, I know I was probably a little flustered at the meeting with those numbers. When I said it would be a total of $900,000, that would be the total cost of the program, not an additional $900,000. And where that comes from is we currently have budgeted $419,249 in our budget proposal for 2014-2015. And that covers what the tuition does not. $368,459 is what is calculated as coming from tuition. Those tuition fees pay for half of the teacher's salary, half of the aide's salary, and supplies for the classroom. So if we went to free full-day kindergarten for all students, we would have to come up with that $368,459 because we would no longer be collecting tuition. Plus the fact that with the census data that we currently have, the number of classrooms that we would need to provide are 2 classrooms over what we currently have budgeted, with keeping with the neighborhood schools that we do have in Long Meadow. So, and keeping the class sizes as close to a 10-child to 1 adult ratio. So that came with adding 2 more teachers, 2 more aides, that's another $160,000. So, and that's also not including any increases that would be required for specials, the art, gym, music, library technology teachers, if they would have to be increased, along with outfitting more new classrooms than we anticipated. So where I came up with the total of $900,000 was the $419,249 that's already budgeted, plus the $368,49 from tuition, plus $160,000 for salaries, would bring us close to a total program cost of $900,000.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Because we'd have to get rid of, instead of offering 2 half-days and 1 teacher, we'd now have to take those 2 half-day classrooms, break them into full-day classrooms, as well as.
And most likely, based on census information,
Add
have to
another
still
teacher.
add an additional teacher, if not 2, based on numbers, so that our class sizes were kept as small as possible, without going to, 25 children in a kindergarten class. So I'm sure that, that evening, I might have been unclear, and I apologize for that, but it's not an additional $900,000, it's a total of $900,000 for the program.
But we're still looking at another, like,
500.
530 about, somewhere in, okay.
We're looking at least $500,000 additional if we were to provide full-day kindergarten at no charge.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? No? Okay, there's no old business, and since Superintendent Doyle is not here to report, there'll be no report. And I'll just say something as chair for the chair update. Just want to let you know that we have 5 people who applied for the school committee appointed vacancy, and interviews will be held March 10th. I'm not sure where, but probably here. And then the appointment will be on March 17th. And I'll turn it over to Joe for our student report.
Thank you. The only thing I have to report on tonight is, especially noticed today, was the internet speeds were extremely hindering in the high school. My entire physics class was brought to its knees by the lack of Google Drive. And obviously the superintendent and Chairman Clark aren't here tonight to give any answers, but just the students are asking for update on how long till maybe we could get some resolves.
From what I've heard, it's still an issue with Verizon, our carrier. No?
Well, today's issue was a different service provider that we
Oh.
buy our bandwidth from. They did notice that we were having issues with all of our Google, especially our Google apps. They guaranteed us they would work on a solution and hopefully have it in place by tomorrow, because it impacted not just the students, but both the town operations also. So it was felt across the entire community today in terms of the ability to access online material and curriculum. So hopefully by tomorrow when you come back to school, you won't see that issue continue. In regards to Verizon, we are making some progress. The fiber network has been completed. We are now just waiting for the Mass Broadband Initiative to be cut over, which we are told that it could happen either sometime later this week or by next week for sure. So that will then increase our bandwidth, which will then hopefully increase the speed and ability to access internet material.
Okay.
So
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Oh, okay, that's it. Let's move on to our financial report. We have a budget revision.
So Finance Subcommittee met last week. There were two items. The first is a grants and special revenue transfer. There are three grants that are impacted: the Title IIA grant, the Race to the Top grant, and the Academic Support grant. And the request is basically to move funds that we already have in the budget. We are not increasing or decreasing the grant amounts. We are just reappropriating the funds to lines based on the district needs. So in the Title IIA grant, we're looking to transfer funds from various salary lines and put them into contracted services to bring in some professional development for staff. In the Race to the Top grant, we are looking to take money out of that line, the grant line that has contracted services, and use it for substitutes and stipends for employees for training. And the third one, the academic support, we are just looking to move some money around from instructor salaries and supplies into a stipend for the administrator who oversees that grant and program, the support that the students at the high school get from CAS remediation.
Okay, great. Do you have a question?
Are you ready for the motion?
We have a motion?
Yep. I move on the recommendation of the Finance Subcommittee that the school committee approve the budget revisions as outlined in the document titled Grants and Special Revenues Revision Number 3, dated February 12, 2014.
You have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Unanimous. Okay.
All right, that is 5-0.
The second item, after last school committee meeting, when the budget was discussed, a parent requested that the school committee consider adopting the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education's tuition sliding fee scale for the full-day program. And Finance Sub reviewed the document that is for FY15, which has higher income thresholds than the current sliding scale that the district has been using. And they have voted to recommend school committee adopting the DESI scale to replace the current one that we use.
Okay.
I move on the recommendation of the Finance Subcommittee that the school committee adopt the use of the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education fiscal year 2015 full-day kindergarten tuition sliding scale as presented.
Any
Second.
discussion?
Don't you need a second first?
Oh, sorry.
Second. And I had a question. I know I was not able to attend the Finance Subcommittee. For families with multiples, and granted, my multiples are beyond kindergarten age, but are we looking to offer any type of discount? I know we've not discussed that prior at any of our parent open forums, but would there be the possibility with adopting this new sliding scale of offering a discount for those with multiple children entering kindergarten if they were wishing full day for tuition?
Like, for example, in the case of twins?
Twins, triplets?
Triplets?
Yeah.
Yes,
question.
there would be, although this particular scale does not call for it. What I would recommend, if the committee would like to do that, that they adopt that as part of the fee. So the fact that we've already approved it, I would do a secondary motion that would revise the fee that was established and say that a discount of however the committee would like to structure it be applied for families of multiples. I would also say that you might want to consider that for preschool also. We established that fee earlier, I believe, last meeting also, or the meeting
Right,
before
but now
that,
this,
so.
the sliding scale is not going to, the same sliding scale is not applying to preschool?
It is not.
Okay.
But I would say you might want to do separate motions
Motions.
to adopt some
To adopt the
additional
sliding scale.
language regarding the families with multiples and whatever discount the committee feels is appropriate.
Is that something we can discuss now, or do we need to go back to Finance Sub and discuss?
Most certainly could refer back to Finance Sub to vet and bring back to school committee.
Okay. Why don't we wait until we have a meeting next week and we can do that?
Okay. Okay, so we'll have that on the agenda for finance sub, is to look at a discount for multiples for both kindergarten and for preschool.
Preschool.
But that doesn't hinder the we can still approve this.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know if I could,
Yes.
to me, that's a friendly amendment to what we're proposing. We're trying to give an economic break to families with multiple people in the household as well as multiple birth age children.
Mhm.
Why not just do it now?
Okay.
Is there some procedural reason we should wait? And I'm thinking in terms of billing people now.
Yeah.
Well,
Then we
so
wouldn't
that
have to get
people-
into making refunds. We could just say,
Right.
Well, there's still, even if people have already paid their deposit, we most certainly could adjust their future, the remaining balance based on whatever discounts either approved tonight or after the finance sub meets. I just don't know if the committee's prepared to make a recommendation on what discount they're comfortable with or feels appropriate. So that's the only reason I would refer it back to finance subcommittee, unless the committee's.
I mean, I don't have a problem making a recommendation for an amount. I don't know what the impact would be budgetarily. I don't think it would be that huge of an impact, but, oftentimes a discount of 10%, for paying for multiples.
I know when we talked, when we were trying to discuss the actual fee, the slightest amount seemed to make a big difference. So I don't know if we need to discuss it while you look at numbers. I don't know.
Right. No, and that's why I'm saying, that's
What's
why.
difficult is we have no idea how many people might be eligible. I believe we actually were contacted by one family and inquired if there was any discount, and at the time we said, well, no. So it's hard to say whether 1 or 10 families will qualify to know what budgetary impact the committee makes, even if it were to go back to finance up. So if the committee is comfortable with a recommendation, there's no procedural reason it would have to go back to finance subcommittee for debate.
So how do you feel like you want to wait or you don't want to?
I wouldn't know how much to say, but if anybody else feels comfortable, then I'm happy to go along with.
How do you feel? You feel 10%
well,
is good?
maybe we should do it at the finance subcommittee. We'll have another member here at our next meeting, and that way we'll enjoy the support of 6 people.
Okay. All right.
But certainly, we have time to do it, and I think it's a fair proposal.
Right. So
I think
perhaps-
we all feel that way.
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely like to see it.
Right, so perhaps maybe let the person who was inquiring know that it'll be announced at the March 10th meeting?
Sure.
Okay,
Okay.
so we can,
So we now have to vote.
we've got to
on
vote on this?
So let's have a vote.
this, Unless there's any other questions.
Any other questions, yeah?
No,
No?
good.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, 5-0. Okay, let's see.
School building committee.
Anybody from the school building committee?
Okay, we did not have a meeting in February, but we are continuing to look at the punch list. It's being reduced. There's still a few minor corrections that have to be made to the building. So we'll be meeting again in March.
Okay. Legislative?
The governor has presented his budget, and the House and the Senate will now prepare their own budget, and they tend not to talk to each other until they absolutely have to. So right now, there's not much happening. I'm talking about the state level.
Green team, I do not have an update, but I do need to set a meeting. Operations?
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
No report.
Okay, seal?
Nothing. Everybody's just coming back from vacation.
Okay. Lower Pioneer Valley?
Okay, the Lower Pioneer Valley Educational Collaborative is beginning a search for a new director. Dr. Ann McKenzie is leaving. She's going to become superintendent of schools up in Hadley. So we're looking to find a replacement for her that matches the kind of quality service that she's been giving us. And as I reported at my last report, our audit came through with very high marks from the outside auditing committee or group. So I have a lot of confidence in what we're doing over there. And we haven't had a meeting since our last meeting, because I have a meeting Wednesday night. That's it.
Okay. Middle school working group?
Nothing to report, but I would like to schedule a meeting for next week, so hopefully we'll have something.
Okay. Policy, we have a meeting next week, Wednesday at 1:15.
Mhm.
And anything else? No? Okay. Let's move on to preliminary field trip requests. We have one field trip request. And it is a trip, 10th anniversary trip to Takikawa for the East Asia Club. Okay. Does anybody, can we have a motion, please?
I move on the recommendation of the superintendent that the school committee approve the preliminary request to secure prices and make arrangements for students from Long Meadow High School to travel to Takikawa, Japan in July of 2015.
Second.
Any discussion?
Sounds cool.
Second.
Okay.
Wish I went here for high school.
I know. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
5-0, motion. All right, next, we have approval of warrants.
Okay, I move that the school committee approve the warrant batch number 2200 of the general operating fund for fiscal year 2014, dated 28 February 2014, in the amount of $229,990.64.
Second.
All in favor? 5-0.
Okay, I move the school committee approve the warrant batch number 2201 of the school lunch fund of 2014, dated 28 February 2014, in the amount of $175.94.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Sorry, thanks.
And that's it for warrants.
Okay, great, thanks. There's a consent agenda, consists of 2 overnight field trip requests. Can I have a motion, please?
I move on the recommendation of the superintendent that the school committee approve the consent agenda for the February 24th, 2014 school committee meeting as presented.
Second.
Oh, any discussion? Oh, sorry, no discussion?
You don't, you know.
All in favor? 5-0. Okay. We don't have any minutes to approve. And there's no executive session.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you for coming tonight for the school committee meeting. Very short one,
Very efficient one.
very efficient one. Right.
Keep up the good work.
All right, thanks, have a good night.